Hi, this is Kevin again, and I'm going to conclude my 100-Year War series by putting up the French. Wow, this was such a long undertaking. It's taken me over a year to finish this army. I just could only do a little bit at a time, but it's really built for the early part of the 100 Years War. I really fell in love with Crecy and Poitiers. I think that the entire dance of the English between Edward and Philip going up the river, the Somme and the Seine, and trying to find crossings, and really that whole dance. And then, of course, Philip taking the oriflamme out of the Abbey of Saint Denis and gathering an army to oppose Edward is such a wonderful story. And I love the knights of this age, not the ones in plate. I really wanted to paint the French that was at Crecy and Poitiers. Of course, that was quite an undertaking, but I tried my best to represent the families that were there and the commanders, Anacan and Comte-Hou and Aubigné and Savary, Alderham, all of them I tried. Every family that was of significance during that battle, I've tried to portray. Even Jean II du Valois, King of France, or Philip in his retinue. So there are a few other characters in here that come into to play more at Poitiers, but most of the families are represented, and I group them into family groupings because I believe that the retinues fought together. They probably were intense together and were friends and servants, and they fought together. So this is my French army. As you can see, it's quite large, has a lot of different elements, and I really hope that you like it. I based it on two stands being one unit or maybe two, with each family represented on that stand together with their banners or no banners, but at least the individual families are not lost on that stand by just painting one. And I really enjoyed this army. It's been long in the making. So just kind of give you an idea, most of the knight figures are from Bluemoon. I think they had fantastic figures. There are a few Corvus Belli mixed in, but not so many. And a couple of Essex, but really too few to mention. All of the figures, for the most part, are from Bluemoon. Now, I do have a few figures here from the spearmen or the levy. Are from Mirlington, a few from Corvus Belli. This is where I used a lot of Peter Pig figures for some of the other units, but I tried to create what I thought a French army might look like. Even crossbowmen with their painted pavis, with the individual families or who paid their bills. That's how I painted them. So you can see all the different families that are in here. I don't speak French very well, so I can't pronounce them or won't even try, but everybody's here. The King of Bohemia, the Luxembourgians, the Margraf of Moravia, and Montpensier and Touraine, a lot of different families. And there are no transfers here or printed out materials. This is all hand-painted. And I know some of it looks kind of hand-painted, doesn't it? But I enjoyed doing it. Each each one in its own right. The mounted foot is really for Poitiers, and if I wanted to dismount him during a game, and these figures are from Peter Pig and from Mirlington and from a few from Essex. These are different than the English dismounted that you saw, or the foot knights. This is an entirely separate batch. And yeah, I think they turned out extremely, extremely well. Now, of course, they on the cavalry, they look a little bit different, or the knights, than when they're on foot, but they don't really make the figures that way, unfortunately. But anyway, I've got two wings of cavalry. This is the second wing, if I could hold my own camera straight. And I picked the commanders that were at Crecy, and two wings of cavalry. And yeah, well, you can see it is a labor of love. I think one of the things that really inspired me was on YouTube was four guys in England had put up at one of the shows, one of their rendition of Crecy was absolutely beautiful. Their knights, that totally inspired me. And I decided that I would like to do the same in 15 millimeter. And I think that it turned out quite all right. And there's, of course, Philip with the Oriflame, and as best as I can paint it. Now, this is from a friend of mine. This is a French camp wagon, and there's, of course, the baggage camp. I had animals going by the tent. I just thought that was funny. And I like to have fun when I'm doing various camps. But anyway, I really hope that you can appreciate the amount of work that went into this and really celebrate it. It's a true work of art. But you know, the Medieval Wargamer podcast, Nick, he's also been very inspiring to me. Just his depth of knowledge and how he really helps us as collectors and as gamers to kind of look at the medieval period as a true gaming experience. And I really want to thank him for that. I'm not as well read as he is, but I do enjoy his podcasts and really enjoy reading more and more about this history. But you know, this army here, my understanding of Crecy is they thought that the English numbered somewhere around 9,000. They were able to cross the river within 1 hour, but that the French had 12,000 mounted and about 60,000 infantry. And you can see that I painted a lot of the levies, and I've got the peasant contingent there as well, and really tried to give it a different feeling than the English. This is heavy crossbow, a lot of levies and peasants. So I hope that you enjoyed my 15 millimeter representation of the French army at the Battle of Crecy and Poitiers and the 100 Years' War. I hope you enjoy it as much as I'm glad to have been done now and finished painting it.